sheet is
Yeah.
being updated.
I know, we worked very hard on updating it properly and verifying. We're missing one note, though.
Let's see. Okay. Okay, this is great, and also it's great for me. Let's see how you things want to be done. So let me put that in there. Put the notes at the name of the. So the meeting is Monday, Tuesday. And it's going to be the same moon month, correct?
We are currently in the 12 degrees, the second day of the 12-degree east.
Thank you so much for that. Please. Okay, I think that is already done. Can you please initiate the rhythm?
Yes. Thank you for reminding me.
Sure.
Alright, so maybe they're not coming. You can just send a message to them at Angelita, at Abdu. Please remember to do policy training for being late to the scheduled session. So what topics do you have?
Okay, and also paid without being in the budget. That is one of the things that I want to discuss. And also,
Well, this is for completing work. Are you saying that you completed some work?
no, I want you to review the topics that once we complete work, we get paid. So I want to review that if
That's just a
possible.
policy, though. It's just a policy. It's automatically, but you're already in the budget. So this is your first day working while in the budget, right? So this would not be paid. This would be considered extra
Oh, that is a great news.
bonuses.
Close your eyes.
So if you complete work, you get extra
2,
bonuses.
3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
Does that make sense?
And oh,
So
the
that's just the
rhythm
policy.
seemed like it broke, or what happened?
What? We're good? But that's just the policy. So since you're already in the budget, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Since you're already in the budget, you're getting paid, plus you get extra bonuses for completing work.
Great, great. Okay, great. great to hear. So maybe I want to change that. Okay, okay. I want to check that out, and also the tokens. Let's move forward in tokens. If we can do that. That is my two pennies.
So for the tokens, you need the token profiles? The public token profiles? Is that what we're talking about or not?
Sorry, I didn't catch that. Can you please repeat one more time?
Are you talking about the public token profiles or just the tokens in general or what?
The last time that we discussed, you were very specific about the priorities. For example, you tell us about the PV64, the work token that is most valuable, that we need to work on that. For example, starting to work in that specific token.
Okay, so it could be POS equity SFC tokens, right?
Okay?
SFC
Yeah,
co-op
sure.
tokens, yeah. I still think we should start with Angelito though, because there's some major issues going on that we have to address.
Okay, sure.
And I think we could also talk about like policies and expectations and such.
Sure, go ahead.
So you want to do the first topic on Angelito?
Sure.
Let's keep it pretty quick, maybe 6 to 12 minutes if they don't show up, and then just to get on same page and clarity on options. All right, so pretty quick. And then we can get into some client work. I'm also perfectly fine prioritizing the client work first. Like, you know, one of the things I think that I'm trying to get across is that basically if people want to get paid at every single session, the number one top priority should be client work. And then you work on anything else. Like client work always comes first, then we focus on something else.
Time to stretch. Please stop, stand up, and stretch and move around for 30 seconds.
All right, quick stretch.
Yes, sir.
So the only reason I even mention Angelito is just because, you know, he's having major issues, and I always usually try to prioritize individuals first. There's also, you know, issues with Lucy too, which are a little different, but I haven't been able to get people to really want to prioritize either one of them. So we can just wait for Angelito to show up if we want to, but I could just give you a quick update really fast, 6 to 12 minutes on what's going on.
Sure.
Okay, so maybe we should get agreement on what we want to do after we discuss Angelito briefly.
As you told us before, client work.
So do you want to just get straight into the tokens?
After Angelito? Sure.
Okay. So let's just go POS tokens. So let's just go straight into topic 2 if no one else shows up. So 12 to 24 minutes, and then we can do, answer questions and continue to get organized. We might actually want to go through policies and proposals because that's pretty important. But anyways, it'd be good to just kind of go overall, continue to get organized and get it all figured out. Coolio. All right, so do we have agreement on topic 1 and 2?
Yes, sir.
All right, so topic 1, Angelito. So obviously there's major issues. His message yesterday was that he's not sure if he's going to continue working with us. He got on the Jitsi. We talked with him some, and basically he made it clear that he wants to get paid for not doing client work. So the proposal was $147 to be getting paid. And so I put together a list of options in terms of paying Angelito. And obviously option 1 is the option that he is proposing,
Time
which
to
is
pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
so basically option 1 through option 6 are all, oh no, option 1 through option 5 are all loans, and then only option 6 and 7 is just the normal payroll. As far as actual client work, obviously very, very little client work has gotten done, and that's obviously the primary issue overall with everything. So the question is just how do we move things forward if people don't want to do the client work. So he did a half an hour on token profiles, which is mainly training. So token profiles, 30 minutes. And he did clients invoicing, which he never completed an invoice. Invoicing for 1.25 hours, and mainly just training. He just didn't do any invoicing at all. In fact, we really need to get agreement on the policy proposal, like no pay without invoicing. You know, because it's just I don't know how to get people to do the work if they just refuse to do it. And then we have 0.25 on client coordination. Client coordination. And I think that's everything. It should be 2 hours. Yeah.
Maybe I think we are missing budget.
Well, no, this is the client work. The budget doesn't bring in any money, so it doesn't pay payroll. So without client work, there is no money to pay people for internal operations. Does that make sense?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah. So the bottom line is that there's just a lot of issues with all of this. I did put together a list of all of the different terms that he's breaking, but basically the most important ones is like no pay without client work income, and then also he's trying to push family issues, like basically like basic life needs. We have a policy that states that you really need to be self-sufficient because we can't be responsible for people's personal livelihoods. Like, we're just not in that position, So I can copy and paste that particular one, but I think overall
Time for breath.
and then the
Please
1.5
stop and
hours
get ready.
is obviously
Now
an issue.
inhale.
So he wants to get paid
1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Pause. Inhale together. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. Relax.
So he wants to get paid for more than 1.5 hours per day, and he basically stated that that there was confusion over that, and I did get the Upwork post, and the Upwork post clearly states that that the position itself is 1.5 hours per day. So I don't know. Like, people would sit here and do nothing, literally say nothing. They just don't talk. They don't say anything. They don't do anything, and they'll just sit there for 3, 5, 8, even longer numbers of hours, and they're willing to get paid unlimited amounts of money for literally not even typing anything into the notes. And it happens over and over and over again, and we get totally screwed. So the idea that it's not acceptable to limit the number of hours, and it's like, it's up to you to stop After an hour and a half, you need to leave and you need to stop. That's the arrangement. Nobody wants you here. Nobody's keeping you here. If you're here, it's voluntary. You know, it's like I can't force people to leave and force people not to work. It's like we're all owners. We're all working together here. We're all equals. You know. So that's pretty much the situation. I don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, if Angelito comes today, we can discuss it with him. But the only other thing is that I did think about, you know, if people want to get paid for all hours, then we could potentially do like an employee, right? Like a, you know, options for moving forward. So all the past stuff is the past stuff, but for moving forward and keeping Angelito involved, I don't know if he wants to be involved at all, and he won't answer that question directly. So it's like, you know, I think first and foremost we need to address the questions for if he's going to continue to be involved, because that should be a very clear issue. It's a yes or no answer, right? And then after we understand his current relationship in the budget, if he's not going to be involved, then he should be removed from the budget, and we should make it clear that we're not actively paying him for him to not be working and prioritizing the client work, right? From there we can discuss and, you know.
Time to pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
We can discuss and get agreement on how much to pay, right? In terms of the payroll. But the payroll work is not getting done. There's a lot of other issues with it. And in my perspective, Angelito wants the most amount of money, but he does the least amount of work. He doesn't show up on time. He doesn't follow through with the work. He's not particularly, you know, organized, and he talks a lot of talk, and then he doesn't really back it up. Like, he says things, and I'm like, okay, prove it, verify it, and then he doesn't send me anything. He says he's going to do something, and then he doesn't. Right? So I haven't been particularly impressed, and now he's basically making me spend dozens of, you know, another half dozen hours. I already spent like 15, 20 hours on redoing the entire payroll spreadsheet for him so it could be weekly pay, because he wanted weekly pay instead of monthly. Mm-hmm. And now it's like spending another 6 hours on just dealing with this whole situation because he wants to get paid without doing the client work, right? So it's like, I'll do whatever I can to try to help people, but I can only do so much, because basically it just turns everything around where now I have to work for them instead of people working for the organization, right? So
yes, sir.
The only other thing that I was mentioning was that we do have an interesting option that would be involved in
involved
in like an employee relationship. Like trying to find, I already wrote it all up. Here we go. I think this is it, yeah. So I'll just put this as the last thing, and then I'm done. If you have any questions, you can ask it, and we'll just see if he shows up. But we have to make decisions on this because I don't know what else to do. So basically, the idea of paying people for every hour that they're involved is obviously not possible within a co-op and within like ownership model, right? But we could take away everyone's ownership, or not everyone, but take away Angelito's ownership and power. So he's no longer empowered, and create like a different organization that would have a director and hire employees, right? And the employees would be contracted or be an employee or contractor, right? That you could just immediately fire, you know? So it's like you have a boss, and it's like a normal job. You get paid for the hours. You do what you're told to do, and the moment you don't do it, you can be fired on the spot or suspended and then reviewed or whatever needs to be done. So the general idea is like, you know, I'm not willing to enter a contract and relationship with someone
Time to take
where
a break. Please stop. Write down whatever you were about to say and take a break for 6 minutes.
where they have all the power and all the control, and they can decide whatever they want to, and they can work as many hours as they want to, and they can never be fired, and that basically they want unlimited money, and they have no interest in the client work. Then the client work doesn't get done ever, and they just want money, money, money. I'm not interested in that relationship. We've been there, we've done that. It didn't work. It was awful, right? So if somebody wants that relationship where they get paid for every single hour that they work, then they need a boss, and they need to not be an owner, and they have no power, and they do what they're told, and they either do it or they don't, and then they get fired immediately on the spot at any moment by their boss. Right? And I don't know if I'll be comfortable with doing that, but that's basically the only option I can think of. You know, there was one other idea that Abu Bakar mentioned idea of like, you know, what would be like a middle ground, you know, that's more flexible. So for me, what we had before was extremely flexible, where basically we can take out loans. So for me, the loan is the middle ground, but then the loan requires like the UMCUS agreement on how this loan is getting paid back. So if we take out a $100 loan for Angelito and he just doesn't even care about the organization, he just leaves, he's not interested at all, we're stuck paying that back. Just like we're stuck paying back the other $30,000 of all the money people took from the past, right? So, yeah. So that's the situation. I don't know if you have any questions, but eventually we need to vote on this. If no one wants to prioritize it before the main session, then we would just prioritize it on Thursday, Friday, and this vote on it then on one of these 7 options for the payroll. But I did note here, it's kind of stuck in, let me put it down here. So on line 16, I did note that the work just hasn't even been done properly for the payroll. Like, it's like, not only do people want to get paid, they don't want to do the work for the payroll and track their hours properly. Like, the hours aren't tracked properly, the payroll is not done properly. Like, this is the training to make sure that everything's done correctly so that everything is right, right? But obviously Angelito doesn't care about the work, he just wants the money. Because every time I mention that, okay, you need to do this and this and that, he just doesn't want to do it. He's just not interested. So I don't know what to do about it all, but anyways, I wanted to make sure you knew about it and that you know that this is coming up, and that's pretty much it. So obviously we didn't track time. We break policies all the time too. We're really bad with policy training. I don't know how to fix that, which is why I'm going to the Unity model, where unless people do policy training, they will not get paid. So that is my solution for the policy training, is that basically because people don't follow the policies and they refuse to do the policy training, my interest is the Unity team, and the Unity team will not pay a dime unless the policies are followed and until the policies are followed.
Okay, what about this? Yeah. We already missed a little bit of break. So do you want to take a 3-minute break, or?
Yeah, well, let's finish this topic though. I mean, do you have any questions about this, or is that enough, or is this good? We just move on, or what?
Oh no, because I don't want to continue to break policy. We're missing the break, so I have questions. I have insights.
Okay, you do have questions. Okay, so let's take a break. We'll take a break, and then we'll come back. You can answer. We can answer all your questions. Okay.
Okay, great. Cool. So 5 minutes, 3 minutes.
I mean, I'm fine with 3 minutes.
Well, I'm asking you 5, 3.
5 is fine, or 4. How about 4? 4 minutes.
Oh, okay, let's go.
End
It's
of
4
break.
o'clock.
Time to start. Please get focused on the session.
I'm back.
Yep, I'm ready.
Okay, great. So for me, it's the same that we discussed a few weeks ago. One of the things that I understand about life is right now we are in a quite civilized environment. We have a lot of ways to help other people, to help ourselves. But the thing is the same as ancient times. You don't do work, some kind of work, you will not get you won't get any
Time to
food.
pause. Please
You won't get
stop.
any pay.
Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
So it's the same thing what happened with FQN. We cannot let these people to do the same stuff as before. Angelito, I remember that when I work with him and with you in the body teams, I need to ask questions about how you're doing, are you here, what you think about this, and sometimes I think I hear him like with a hard breathing. I don't know what happened. Maybe he was paying too much attention, or maybe he was sleeping. I don't know, but I sense that he is not quite involved as we want people to be. So the good thing about SFC is we empower people to let them do stuff, but they need to show up. They need to wake up in the morning, get out of his house, get out of his uh, house in his mind to do things, to do work. That is essential, you know. So I think we need to update a little bit of the policy about being on time. That is the first thing to do because we are coordinating people all around the world to be on time with every in a session. So being on time is essential, you know. And the other thing is to uh, yeah, to show up interest in the thing. Show interest. Yes, I can do that. I can help you with that. I am yesterday I studied this, but people not saying nothing for hours and hours and hours. That means they are not doing anything. You know. So basically my thought about this issue. So I think we need to follow the policy. Like until you are not showing up, you are not asking questions, you are not answering questions. So virtually, I don't know how this works. But yeah, we need to move forward with people that want to show up. For example, I think that Abdu is showing up. He's trying to move along. Maybe I think he's a little bit preoccupied about his status on the organization because he wants to get paid, but at least he's taking action, you know. And I see that okay, I'm going to create the new tab. Yes, I want to do that. Yes, I have questions. So that is a great attitude to have in a worker that wants to move the things forward. Yep.
Time
Yeah.
for breath.
Cool.
Please stop and get ready. Now inhale. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Pause. Inhale together. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. Relax.
Cool. Great. Yeah, I think this all sounds good. I mean, for me, one of the key opportunities that we have for challenging policies is this new idea of the policy token, the negative token. Like, I'm really excited about it. I think it is like groundbreaking. And anyways, I'm ready to go to the next topic, and we can discuss it at the beginning of the next topic of how this new policy will actually address people. Like, for example, being late. Like right now, if you're late, you're supposed to do policy training, and then they don't even do policy training, and it's just like you're bringing down the organization. You're making us lose value for everybody, right? So,
Right.
so I have this amazing idea. I don't know if you've heard about it, but anyways, let's go into topic 2. I'm going to create the tab.
Okay.
Unless you have anything else on topic 1.
No, the thing is, I think we need to create the policy to being on time. And if you miss, I don't know, without any warning on communicating that you are having this issue or that, that could be in the middle term after 3 strikes, you are out, something like that.
So basically, the policy, the proposal would be automatic probation for not showing up on time without communications 3 times. In how long? In a month? In a week? In
A week? We need to move forward.
well, no. 3 times. If they do it 3 times in a month, it's perfectly fine. But 3 times in a week is not okay.
No, for me, if you are if you don't show up 3 times in a week, that is probation. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so I'll put that as a WCTC policy, a WCG policy proposal.
Okay.
And I'll put
great.
it into the proposals. Done. All right, cool. So automatic probation for not showing up on time without communications 3 times in basically a week, 7 days. Oh, but would that be like a 7 days in a row, or that be each moon week? It might be easier for it to be a moon week so that we can track it, right? Each moon week.
The thing is, yeah, in our I think in our moon week that is great, but also is he compromised to do what? He compromised to show on time.
Time to pause.
No?
Please stop. Close your eyes. Count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
I mean, this is why I'm not particularly a big fan of old world workers, is because they can't prioritize their presence because they're sleeping and they're tired. You know what I mean? So for me, that's why I always want to prioritize finding new world workers, but obviously we're not successful finding new world workers except for me and you, and so this is what we have. So we just have to keep going, and eventually we'll find other people. But anyways, I like the policy. The policy is good. Automatic probation after 3 times of not showing up on time.
And also one of the things I think we can do is maybe speak with former new world recruiters, new world workers. For example, remember the first time that I worked with you, that we got a person in Mexico? She was quite good doing the work. I don't remember her name. But maybe tell her, maybe send a communication to those workers, tell them we are moving forward into a negotiation with new policies, and we want to prioritize the client work so every people can be paid. So a very basic message so they can generate interest to show up again. What do you think about that idea?
I mean, we can always ask people, but for me, my main communications with all the people from the past has been with the tokens and getting them to transfer their FQN tokens into SFC. And if they don't do that, then they're not even eligible to work within SFC. So I think we should just stick with just doing the normal communications with the membership and then engage them the way that we're supposed to, which actually is client work that no one does. And then by engaging with them professionally, they will see us in a professional light, and if we show them that we're working towards good outcomes, then they might want to come back and get back involved, right?
Okay.
So for me, the main focus is like, how can we get organized and functional with the resources we have now, right? And for me, the kind of the new model that I'm thinking about going into is we always talk about assigning, separate workers to do client work or internal operations. And so basically I had this genius idea. Looks like we have someone posting. Oh, it's Lucy. I had this genius idea that basically, if we have one worker, the priority must be client work. If we have two workers, then you can have one worker focusing on client work.
Please stop, stand up, and stretch and move around for 30 seconds.
All right, quick stretch.
Okay.
All right. So as I was saying, basically, with the first worker must work on client work. The client work must be the priority. Period. Right? There's just no way to get around that. The second worker, the priority would be internal operations. Because you can have basically one person working on client work income while the other person's working on internal operations. And then the third worker would be focused on communications and multimedia. So for me, or we could even call it multimedia communications, I think sounds better. Multimedia communications, internal tactical operations. So you have client work income, internal tactical operations, and multimedia communications, right? So for me, this is this can be done with just me and you can move the work forward. We get a second person, you can focus on client work, they can focus on internal tactical operations. Get a third person, we can get them focused on the communications and the multimedia, right? So I feel like we have enough with the people that we have involved already. We don't, if we hire anybody, it should just, we only need one person, and we don't need them to do a lot, right? So
Okay.
it's just a matter of continuity and building the continuity with the team. So we'll just have to see what happens with Angelito and Abdu, but we can't wait for them. We need to be doing the recruitment and just figuring out how to get people who do want to be involved and engaged with us. So anyways, I think this new model that I'm thinking about would actually work really well. And the model that I'm thinking about is basically you have, ideally there would be 4 people. There would be the overall everything, which would be me,
Time
right?
to
Like the
pause.
CEO slash
Please stop.
centaur, whatever.
Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
So you have one person focusing on like everything. And then you would have the 3 sub workers who would, one would be focusing on client work, internal operations, and the other on multimedia. And then you would have basically, you know, your Cobalt 1.5 hour session, and everyone's silent. And everyone's working on their own part. So the ideal is everyone's silent, one person's working on client work, one person's working on internal operations, and another person's working on the communications. And it's just all happening simultaneously, and we're all just working together, but we're doing it in silence, because once you're trained and you know what you're doing, you're just working. And you just have each person's working on their own thing that they're assigned to do as their primary work. And obviously we come together, we do our main sessions, we do all of our other things that we need to do. We help each other, we're all learning, and we can switch around the roles every, you know, month or whatever. But this would create like a position where someone would be responsible. For example, with the internal tactical operations, there would be one person who's responsible for payroll and budget and documentations and just making sure that we're functioning with our internal operations and deadlines and everything, you know?
That's something that I really, really like. But yeah, that is the other thing that I'm thinking is, you know, the thing is that the SFC organization had a very good vision, but I don't know how we can transmit that to the new workers so they can feel involved, and also they can feel they're going to get paid, because there is also a financial motivation to work. But
Well, you
think
get money for training. You do 1.5 hours of training per week, which is where we teach all the methodologies, all the missions, all the visions, all the ideas. That's what the training is for, the official training, right? And they get paid an hour and a half per week to do training, but no one does it. And if you don't want to do it, you just don't get the money. Right? Again, I don't care if people don't want to do the work. What I care about is paying people to not do the work. That's what bothers me so much. Right? So we have, the model is there. Everything works. Everything's functional. Everything that we need is ready to go. It's just a matter of doing it and making it functional, making it work. So, you know, one of the ideas of the multimedia communications, like this could be multimedia multimedia communications, you know, training multimedia communications, right? You could add in the training as part of it, like that basically you rotate around, and whoever is the third worker doing the training multimedia communications.
Time for breath. Please stop and get ready. Now inhale. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Pause. Inhale together. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. Relax.
Whichever worker is focusing on training multimedia communications would prioritize their training as part of their position. And then every month you switch around, and then so once every quarter, you know, out of the 3 workers, there'd be 1 worker, and so once every quarter you would have a priority of doing your training as like part of your position, but then the next 2 months you focus on internal operations and client work, and you don't focus as much on your training, and then 3 months later you come back to your training again and do more training, right? So, you know, maybe that's an idea, because like if you're working on your training, you need someone else working on client work, you need another person working on the internal operations for the payroll and the budget and the documentations and everything else, right? So it's like when you're doing your training and you're learning about the bigger picture of everything. I mean, we didn't even do orientation, so we're breaking more policies on orientation as well. Anyways, I'm ready to go on to the tokens, and we can discuss this, but I think that as a model that this could work.
Okay, sure. Let's go ahead to tokens then.
Proposal, you know, create a new position-based model where workers focus on a rotating position each month between, and then these are the first of the 3 positions. Okay.
Okay.
So yes, I'll put that as a proposal as well. All right. Anyway, so we're ready to go to the tokens.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay. Cool. So Getting the tokens, the idea that I'm having that relates to everything we just talked about is I love the idea of putting people on probation. I think that's fine. We can put people on probation for not doing, showing up on time, things like that. But it's still against policy, and it still negatively affects the entire team and organization, right? The co-op is negatively affected by breaking policies. So the problem with policy training is policy training requires the worker to care about the policy they are breaking and to care about the organization, right? And obviously people don't care enough to do policy training. So I can mention it over and over and over and over again, and it's just like we just don't do the policy training, and we can't seem to get people to want to do it.
Time to pause. Please
So,
stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
So the idea is a negative token, right? And you have a positive token. So the negative token, the positive token would represent policy training and stars. So when you get a stars, it's a positive value, and when you get policy training, it's a negative value. So if you break the policy, you're losing value for the organization. When you follow the policy, then you're gaining value for the organization, right? Does that make sense?
Okay.
So I don't want to get into like all the complications and everything like that, but the bottom line is, as a society, we are no longer on the gold standard, we're no longer on the fiat standard, we are on the derivative standard, right? The economic model of the 21st century is a derivative economy, right? And so without going into any details of how that works and everything, the idea here is that we can create the negative and positive tokens with a simple derivative as a future kind of like loan on the organization, right? So think about it like this. You break a policy, and the policy is valued at 1 hour, right? If your hour is $10 per hour, then that would be 10, in essence, negative 10 points against the organization for breaking that policy, and then you would end up with 10 negative tokens. And these 10 negative tokens would have what's called a settlement date. And the settlement date is the idea of the future date at which these negative tokens would be required to be in essence paid back, right? So let's say the settlement date is we'll give someone 60 days, right? Or 1.5 months or whatever. We just have a date where everything's settled, right? Then that worker and the organization as a whole would have a certain number of days. You have X number of days to make up the policy and get stars and positive tokens. In other words, to start following the policies, right? And then you would accumulate, if you accumulate, like let's say you follow a policy, you get 1 hour.
Stop, write down whatever you were about to say, and take a break for 6 minutes.
Now let me just finish this and we'll take a break. So if you're following the policy at 1 hour policy, then you would get 10 positive points. And the positive points, if you get those 10 positive points within the certain number of days for the settlement date, then they would cancel each other out, and then so there would be no net effect on the organization, right? But if you don't do that, then after the settlement, the negative tokens would automatically lower the value of the co-op tokens, right? Because it would basically be taking a loan out against the value of the tokens, of our ownership tokens, right? And then if we don't fix the policy training and we continue to break policy, then the actual value of the tokens within SFC will automatically go down to represent the breaking of policies. So you don't even need to care about the policies being broken. We just issue the negative tokens because you're bringing down the value of the organization and you just are accumulating those tokens. We're just like, Angelito, you just accumulated, 5 hours of policy training. We know you don't care. You're not doing the policy training, so now you get an additional 5 hours of policy training. So now you have 10 hours of policy training times $6 an hour is $60. You have a $60 loan negative token equivalency against the value of the token, and so therefore the tokens are going to go down in value by that amount unless you follow the policies and work back that negative amount, and it affects everybody. And if people don't give a crap about the tokens, then they shouldn't be here, and then we'll know, right? Because with policy training it affects nobody. With this, it doesn't directly affect your pay, it just directly affects everybody's value. And it makes sense because if we are not following the policies, we're negatively affecting the organization, and therefore the entire value of the organization and the tokens should go down. So it makes perfect sense in terms of the model.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So anyways, take a break, and then when we get back, we can talk more if you have any questions about this. And the proposal for this is pretty simple. It's just, getting agreement on a negative token, right?
Yeah, let's take a break and then I'll ask you the question later.
Yeah, break. 4 minutes.
4 minutes, okay?
moment of break. Time to start. Please get focused on the session.
I'm back. I don't know if we still got 1 minute or we are done.
Done with what?
1 more minute or we are ready to go?
I'm ready. Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, go. Let's go then. But I think that is well, that is something that I think how to implement. It could be a little bit complicated, but also the negative tokens. I think they must have a limit. So okay, if you reach, I don't know, X number of tokens, you will, I don't know, need to stop until you complete your policy training, because I know that I
Love
also
it.
start policy training. You know, I'm not asking questions about how to do it, when to do it, but it should be a limit. So if you don't do the policy training, then until you get, if you get, I don't know, 100 tokens and you don't do your policy training, you will need to stop doing client work. And because of that, you will not get paid. I don't know, something like that, like consequences. I don't know.
I like it. I like it because it makes it a cumulative. Because right now we don't track a cumulative policy training that is not tracked. So it's like you're always supposed to track your policy training, but if you don't track, 1 hour policy training, who cares? But then if it accumulates, 1 hour again and again and again, if you don't track 10 hours of policy training, then that should be a major, major issue that then gets into probation. And then 20 hours, you get automatically whatever. So it's like, I think it makes sense that the more you're not tracking and learning the policies, the worse the consequences are.
Time to pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
But that's part of why I love the idea of a policy token, right? Like it would be basically a negative token, right? It's not like a permanent token because it has a settlement date and it ends, right? So it's a temporary token always, but it's really cool because it allows you to calculate to an exact degree the effect of the policies of either following them or not following them on the outcomes of the organization. And it also allows us to have a much better cumulative understanding of people's interaction with the organization, either positively or negatively, because we're tracking every single policy and we are actually creating value for it. Whereas right now, there's just no value in the policies. All the value is just in the client work and doing the work and tracking the hours, right? So this would actually make the policies themselves valuable, which is a huge breakthrough, you know? So I think it's really, really, really good. So then all we have to do is follow the policies and then that's it, right? So let's just go through the other two proposals real quick. So
Also, I got a question.
yeah.
Oh, I think about, because some policies can overlap with other ones. So, for example, if we reach X number of bad tokens, you cannot use the card of I'm sick or whatever, and don't show up, well, for 3 days. So you can miss you can stay in policy because you are communicating that you are going to miss 3 days, and in those 3 days are going to I forgot how to say that, to expire the policy to get the policy training. So he that person will get like 3 days sick leave in that in the end date of the policy for training. I policy training. I explain myself. I think not much.
Yeah, I think I understand. Yeah, I think I understand overall. Hmm.
Okay, so let me do a small recap. You can, if you have a policy training that you're missing, you cannot add more policies to overlap that missing policy, so you can get over. You can get with it.
I mean, if you break the same policy over and over and over again, it's
Time
going
for
to
breath.
negatively affect the
Please stop and
organization
get
over and over and
ready.
over again.
Now inhale. One, two, three.
That is correct. No, I
Exhale.
think,
One, two, three. Pause. Inhale together. One, two, three. Exhale, relax.
oh, I think let's okay. I have the thought. Let's see how that works. So okay, let's move forward. Then yeah, basically is you cannot use one policy to break other one. That is what I'm saying, in the most basic way.
Yeah. Cool. All right, sounds good. Yeah, but one of the things that I'm most excited about this model is that it will allow us to start tracking and valuing the
Okay,
the
so
following of policies, right? So right now we only give value for following policies the very first time, right? So the very first time you should get a bonus, in terms of following the policy. But then once you learn the policy, then we should get value for continuously following the policy. So it's not just the first time. And so I think that's a really, really important part of this.
yeah, of course, policy training is something that is quite valuable because I really understand, Jay, when you're trying to say simple things, and when you do the simple things, you start to create a methodology that at the end is going to pay off. For example, I remember that day, a few days ago, they tell us, wait, too, that that is incorrect what we are saying about the budget, and because we are missing the 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 title, and I say, of course, because that's for archives and to for later it's going to be quite valuable. So I really understand the policy training is very important because it's responsibility organizing. So everyone knows where is everything.
Yes, like the documentations, the policy training, I mean, it's all super duper important. And that's what I'm trying to, like, the worst thing about the whole model that we have is that we don't even know when we're breaking the policies, and that is the very, very worst possible thing to do, is to break policies without even knowing, right? So that's if we can fix that, we should be able to, you know really, really improve. And we can remember even just like a month or two ago, I mean, me and Lucy were going over the payroll, and even just like
Time to
2 months
pause.
ago,
Please
there was no
stop.
work happening. There
Close
hadn't been
your
work happening
eyes.
for
Count.
6 months.
One,
So
two, three, four, five. Open your eyes.
we're making amazing progress, right? But it is a slow process. And but I think we can be extremely successful with all of this if we can get a team together and actually follow through with the work. And I think the model of the work continuity group is also working. I mean, I've been trying for years and years and years to get continuity for Cobalt, and nothing has ever worked, right? And even for Andromeda and other teams where we have the most continuity, it's still very, very shaky. So the work continuity group, the fact that we have continuity now for almost 2 weeks in a row is just, I don't know how to say how amazing that is. I mean, it's just unbelievable that it's actually working. So
Okay,
so it means that what we're doing is working. It's definitely working. We need to just keep going and get it better. And even just an hour and a half a day, that's all it will take, you know? Hour and a half a day, that's all we need. We can slowly pull everything together.
And once we get better at this, we can make more complicated stuff. So yeah, that is great. I concur with that.
Lucy might want to join us.
Sure.
All right, so just really quickly, the other two proposals that we have currently for the tokens is the proposal for the 5 to 10% monthly umbrella business value into the tokens, which is going to increase the multiplier and increase the cost to the clients. And then the other proposal is to create a multimedia umbrella token within the SFC co-op, and I think I already went over the structure. And also I want to make sure we're organizing our sessions. So this needs to go here. So right now I'm copying and pasting our session into the work organizing spreadsheet, which I copied onto line. No, I didn't copy it. So let me do that real quick.
Oh, I think I already did.
So this
today.
is the work, this is the SFC co-op token profiles client work organizing spreadsheet.
Okay.
So every client has its own organizing spreadsheet. Does that make sense? So it's line
Of
4.
course.
Line
A
4.
Where? Sorry, you play.
Line 4. Yeah.
Sorry, where? In what line?
It's on line 4.
Oh, line 4. Oh, thanks. Okay, I see it.
Yeah. So anyway, so the other two
Please
proposals.
stop, stand up, and stretch and move around for 30 seconds.
All right, quick stretch.
Okay.
So again, the other two proposals, the one is the 5 to 10% monthly umbrella business value into the tokens. So this would guarantee, as long as client work income is completed, all SFC tokens would go up in value, which is the key core to the tokenomics, right? So if you're talking about an investor case, why should I buy SFC tokens, right? What's the point of it? Are they going to go up in value? What's going to happen? It's like, well, there's lots of reasons why they might go up in value, but the number one core component is that we are committed to client work income and doing work for the clients that brings in money, and then a portion of every single month's accounts receivable of all the money coming to the organization will go to the tokens, which will guarantee the value of the tokens going up every single month. Right? So that is a huge selling point to the value of the tokens. Right? And that will basically, it's just a core component to make the whole system functional. Because the value of the tokens never go up, the system doesn't work. The tokens won't work. Does that make sense?
Of course, the value needs to go up and must be tangible.
Exactly. It has to be real money. Exactly. It's real. All right. So, and of course, there will be lots of, like, if our token becomes popular, there'll be lots of volatility. It'll go up and down and crash, and people will sell and buy, but there'll still be that underlying continuous increasing. And every time that we buy tokens, which increases the value, the tokens bought are then set aside for burning, which then reduces the supply of the tokens, which then automatically increases their value further. So we're increasing the value by buying the tokens, but then we're also simultaneously increasing the value of each existing token by setting aside the tokens that we bought to be burnt.
Time to pause.
Does that make sense?
Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
Does that make sense?
Okay, I'm following you. I'm following you.
Cool. So anyway, so this is extremely important for the fundamental tokenomics to make sure that potential investors are interested and impressed with our token and how it functions and how it works. The next proposal is just creating the multimedia umbrella token, like I was talking about before, which basically the value system of multimedia and social media is not normal value of our existing work tokens, right? So our work tokens are based on hard work, whereas the multimedia umbrella tokens will be based on clicks, shares, likes, follows, right? It's just a whole different value system. That make sense?
Yes, but the thing is, how we this, like you say before, tokenomics, we are going to get a lot of different tokens. How they are going to work together, and also the traceability of the tokens can be a little bit overwhelming.
The what of the tokens could be overwhelming? What?
The traceability.
The what? I don't understand. The what ability?
Traceability. Maybe I'm not saying that right. Where the tokens are going and where they went.
Where the tokens are going and where they went. I mean, the tokens are minted based on the contributions, right? We only mint tokens based on direct contributions to the co-op, right? So we have contributions of value, and currently we have 4 different types of contribution value within the co-op, and those 4 types are work, and then you have the natural time cycles, right? The planetary sessions, planetary cycles. Then you've got the incentive, the economic incentives, and then the last one is the multimedia, right? The social media multimedia sharing, right? So we have basically you have the work engagement, right? Engagement. Like you have to be engaged and involved and to do the work, right? So the work is an engagement. The planetary cycles are a completely different value system where the value is all based on the alignment, right? So it's basically the value is the planetary alignment, right? And then you have the economic incentives, which are again a completely different value system, which is based on holding, buying, liquidity, locking, right?
3, exhale. 1, 2, 3, pause. Inhale together. 1, 2, 3, exhale, relax.
Right, so work engagement. So this is the value types, right? The value components, right? So with work engagement, you have client work, internal operations, decision making. With planetary alignment, it's all about the alignment of the moment in time, which is extremely valuable. It's called synchronicity. It's called basically, prioritizing the time, right? So like the Saturn session only happens once every 12 years. So at that moment, once every 12 years, it doesn't happen again for 12 years. You show up or you're not getting any value, right? You have to show up for the Saturn session.
You already discussed that.
Yeah, and then social media, like I already covered, is all the clicks and shares and likes. So these are the different types of contribution, right? So the reason why our tokens are valuable and people can trust them is because every single contribution is verifiable. We document and verify basically as a system of I mean, it's like a documentary block, right? We're documenting all of our documents, our videos, like this is being live streamed right now. It's all blocked and engaged with the payroll spreadsheet, right? So everything is going to be, the documents themselves will all basically be packaged all documents and verification of all value that is produced, and that is the minting of the tokens, right? So the tokens don't get minted unless there's value that's verified as contributed to the co-op. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense. Maybe I think explain myself better.
Okay.
So, for example, money is printed in paper, so you know where it's going. This first step, how we are going to send the tokens away, because we need the blockchain attached to the token to make it traceable. I don't know if I explained myself better.
All the tokens are on the blockchain already, right? Do you have your token address in your wallet? I mean, you need to be tracking your hours, and we need to issue you tokens.
Pause. Please stop. Close
I don't think
your
you're.
eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
I don't think your wallet is even in. I don't think your wallet is actually on your POP either. You need to put your token address on your POP. But this would be the token.
I got an address, but I need to put that in my POP.
Yes.
Okay, that is also, I think, that is a very good thing to say, because the workers will be right now be involved to say you need to have your wallet address in your POPP, and that generates a very good interest.
It is. It's part of every single proposal now, right? So when you propose to become a temporary worker and become part of the budget, like it's part of the verification of everyone's POP, so it's there. Like every single person either needs to state that they want someone else overseeing their tokens, or they need to put their address. So you can see all of the, or at least some of the token wallets at this link here, and you can see some of our tokens. But anyway, so the tokens, we create the tokens every 2.5 years is what's called the leap era cycle. So right now we're in the 98-degree west leap era, which ends in December, right? So there's like 3 more months left. 4 more months, 3 to 4 more months. So basically these, the creation of tokens is the easy part. The hard part is the public perception of the tokens, getting the tokens in front of the public, making them professional, and then obviously engaging with the social media in relationship to the tokens, right? And then the most important component of all of this is the idea, the model of the umbrella tokens, right? And so there's 4 umbrella tokens, 5. There's 5 umbrella tokens. There's the overall umbrella token with all value, and then you have the 4 sub values, which is the umbrella token for the work engagement. So you have the umbrella work engagement token, you have the umbrella planetary alignment token, the umbrella economic incentive token, and the umbrella social media token, right? So each of these 4 sub umbrella tokens are all important. So in relationship to the public, we might have dozens of tokens, but they don't need to know about that. All they need to know about is the one single umbrella overall token value, in this case for the 98-degree west leap era. And this is, they only need to know about one single token.
Time to take a break. Please stop. Write down whatever you were about to say and take a break for 6 minutes.
Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah, you already tell me about that you want to be one token only, the main one, and the rest are in the back, like in the back.
Exactly. Yeah. So there's 2 types. There's 2 models of the tokens. There's the umbrella tokens and there's the base value tokens. So the base value tokens is where all of the value is, and then the umbrella nav tokens are basically the value of the umbrella tokens is 100% based on the value of the base tokens, right? So the umbrella tokens have no value unless the base tokens have value. There is no value inherently in the umbrella tokens directly, but they can become valuable over time separate from the base tokens, but all the value starts from the base tokens. So anyways, I'm super excited about this. You have no idea, like, how important this all is and like where we're going with it. And like, it's like, I think we have so many breakthroughs and there's so much technology we can build too if we can find investors to invest in this, in all these models that we're building. So, but for now, we just need to just do it and do the work. So, anyways, these proposals are very important to pass. The other proposal that I'll just mention real quick is the overall token, the overall SFC token system, right? So I think we should have a proposal that takes all the past proposals and all the little piecemeal things of all the different components of the token system for SFC, and then approve it as a single proposal so that everybody can see in one place the entire structure and how it functions and what it is. Does that make sense?
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to have 360 degrees visibility about everything. So
yes, because every single component of the entire token ecosystem, I guess technically it's an ecosystem, not a system, has been approved by consensus over the years, right? So the only thing that has not been approved are these 2 or 3 proposals that we just covered, and then pulling it all together as a one single comprehensive ecosystem so that people can understand it from top down and really and it could take years and years before people understand what we're doing, but for someone who understands this, they could understand it immediately if they just know about how token models work. So let's take a break. And then let's get into the actual most important thing, which is the public perception of the tokens, right?
of course.
And the public profiles. Yeah.
So do you want to take a break or do you want to follow through?
I would like to take a break. Oh, Lucy's coming too, so
Okay,
don't you want to take a break?
Sure.
Yeah, let's take a break. Break is good.
5 minutes? 3 minutes?
Let's try to do 3 minutes because Lucy might show up at the bottom of the hour.
Okay.
Yeah, so 2.5 minutes.
Yes, sir.
End
It's
of
4
break.
o'clock.
Time to start. Please get focused on the session.
I'm back.
All right, so no Lucy. Let's take one more minute.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, one more minute. All right, I'm back.
Okay, great.
Okay, so the last thing I want to go over, well, before I go into this, let's see if there's any questions on what I've covered so far.
Okay, let me check this out. We need investors. We need a lot of. This is going to be a huge project for sure.
I mean, we've been working on this for 5 years, and we'll be working on it for 5 years more. So it is a massive undertaking. But not only is it a huge undertaking to build, even just the model itself, the actual implementation of it is a whole nother level. Like, let's say as a client model, once we show this and we prove it in operation, I mean, we're trying to transform economics at the highest level. We're trying to transform the entire idea of what value even is. That's why we're the social value group, right? We're trying to transform the concept of value and what value is and how everything is valuable. Like the environment is valuable, people are valuable, ideas are valuable. Like, value is not just money. And 99% of all the value on our planet is just lost because it is ignored. And we are trying to change that. And our goal is to capture, and be able to transfer and engage with 99.99% of all value that exists, right? And we doing less than 1%, right? We're probably doing 0.5% or whatever of value is able to be captured with just the monetary value, and we want to get to the entire spectrum of value, right? And so the technology doesn't exist yet to do that, but in a manual model, we can use this multi-token value capture system with cryptography.
Time to pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
To start experimenting with this process. But eventually the technology will be infinitely superior to what we're working with now. We will be able to capture much more value, right? So right now we're trying to get from capturing basically no value to capturing like maybe 2-3% of value, right? But the technology doesn't exist to do what our goal is. That will require much more level, right? So really quickly, line 153 to 158, these are basically the levels of public professional profiles, right, related to tokens. And there's basically five different levels. The first level would be basically a blank token, no information, no verification, nothing. So you can quickly create a token, start using it, engage it, even sell it, even have it, everything on the markets, everything, right? But it's basically a blank token. No, you have no idea what it is, right? And that's some of our tokens are like that. The second level is the minimal information, which is most of our tokens have just the basic, most minimal information. The key problem with the completely blank token with no verification, nothing, is that in the future, it's almost impossible to fix a blank token. You can, on some level, you can fix some parts, but there's certain things that you just lose forever by not getting the minimal information. Once you set up the minimal information, it allows that token to engage and evolve forever into the future. So you basically don't lose anything. And it's a pretty quick process, right, to do that. And that's basically where 90% of our tokens currently are at the minimal level. right? So then the third level is what we call the audit level, the audit information. And this is,
Sorry, Jay,
yeah,
if I interrupt you because I know that you are getting a lot of emotion about that. But one, I think Lucy is with us,
oh,
and
cool.
two, we need to be like distribute. There is a lot of value in these tokens, so we need to add security for those tokens, so they cannot be stolen or add levels of security. So,
But security has nothing to do with public profile information, right? Security is part of our it's a component of our work, right, for POS. Okay, so there's a whole component of security that is involved with our entire systems, which we can cover, but it's not the current priority that we're working on right now.
okay.
Yeah.
Time
So
for
we do that.
breath.
We do the security
Please
separately.
stop and get ready. Now inhale. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Pause. Inhale together. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. Relax.
Yeah, as we go more and more public, the security becomes more and more important. But security includes everything from SLPs to insurance to crypto recovery to bank vaults, right? And gapped systems, cold storage. I mean, there's so many components that go into the security. All right. Oh, also multi-sig wallets are super important. Multi-sig wallets. All right, so anyways, just finishing up with the public professional profiles, there's the 5 levels. I already covered 1 and 2. So the third one is the audit information. And so 90% of our tokens all have minimal information already. So really the next level that we're engaging in is the audit information, right? And this is where we want to go with most of our tokens. The idea is to get the audit information engaged first and work on getting as best of our information as possible without finalizing the official information, because there's a lot you can do with the whole auditing community. Like there's an entire community around tokens that audit and verify tokens external from the blockchain. Does that make sense? And so we want to engage with that community and provide as much information as possible to that community, which will then go to the public as well. So then the fourth level is the official verification by the blockchain itself, right? So getting our public profile on the blockchain and verified within the scanning systems within the blockchain. So this is where we want to get to, obviously. And I would say we obviously want to prioritize our umbrella tokens for all of this, but we want to do this with as many of our tokens as we can. And then the fifth and final level would be the market price verification, which is there's really just coin market cap, and coin gecko. They typically require at least $200,000 per month of volume, which means that people are buying and selling our token to the range of over $100,000 per month. So I guarantee you, if we do this work and we slowly build upon what we're doing as a professional, official organization and eventually into a DAO, which is a decentralized organization, like there is no question we will reach $200,000 per month. It just might take 5 or 10 years, but we will get there, and we will get our token listed on the official markets, and they will be publicly known and engaged.
Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
But it could take us 5 to 10 years to get to that level.
It's a lot of work need to be done.
Yeah, it's a massive amount of work. But even with level 3 and some level 4, we should be able to make our tokens fully functional. And we don't care. I mean, obviously, they're never going to list our tokens at level 5 without being functional, right? So we don't need to worry about the higher levels. For now, we just want to get our tokens just the most basic level of functionality. All right?
Okay.
Cool. All right. So any last questions regarding the tokens? Otherwise, I think we're ready to get to the next topic. Check in with Lucy.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for the explanation. I know you're explaining every single time a little bit further about what needs to be done. Wow, that is a very, very big project. And the question is, what is going to be the first step to
Well,
start?
the first step to realize is that I've been working on this nonstop for years, right? This is all happening in the background, regardless of whether anyone wants to help or not. And I'm doing way more. This is just for the SFC tokens. I'm working on way bigger projects and way bigger visions for the entire economic model of all tokens, not just our tokens. And I don't want to get into that right now, but we're talking about what is value? How does value even function? Like, it's just a matter of time before the US dollar collapses. What's going to replace the US dollar? There is a very high probability that it will be a crypto um, stable model that will replace the US dollar as opposed to another government currency that will just crash again. What if we could build something that creates stability forever, right? So
Yes,
so
sir, but
like I'm going so far beyond just this. Like this is a big project, but this is still small potatoes compared to what this will mean if we can get it functional and get the work moving forward. So in terms of PB64, PB64 is the most important token. I have finalized the full component of level 3 for PB64, right? So if we kind of do like a status here, a status, let's say we have, I don't know, 50 tokens, right? Just like we have a few dozen tokens, right? So let's just say there's 50 of them. We could say like maybe, 3 to 5% are blank tokens that really are not really usable in the future.
Time to stretch.
And then
please stop.
96%,
Stretch and move around for 30 seconds.
95% of our tokens are all minimal information tokens. And then we have 2% now that is the audit. And that's that one token, which is PB64. And it hasn't been approved yet, but it has been submitted. So it's not green, but we could say that it's yellow. It's almost, hopefully within the week it'll be approved. We don't know yet. Okay? So then obviously we have 0% for the other two levels. Okay? So we're making progress, and now that the PP64 token has been completed, we have an example. So it'll be a million times easier to get all the rest of our tokens to the level 3 audit information. But we're only going to be doing those 4 other tokens, and then immediately upon finishing those 4, we're going to go to the official verification for level 4 for the other 6 tokens, which are going to be done. So we could have kind of like here in process. So we're going to be doing a whole bunch of minimal information tokens when it comes to the 157 degree west leap era, which starts in December, right? So in December we're going to be doing a bunch of those, but we don't need to worry about that now. So for the audit information, there's 4 more for the audit, and then there's going to be 6 more for the official verification. Okay? And these are basically like 90% of the work has already been done for these 10 tokens. 90% of the work already done. Okay?
wow.
Because I've been working my ass off for like 50 hours a week for like months and months and months and months and months on all this, with because no one wants to help us to do it anyway. I have to do it by myself.
That is a lot, but thank you so much. But how I can help you to move this thing forward? That is the thing. How I can make, like, for example, solo
Every
work.
single token needs to be verified. There's checklists. We have like checklists of hundreds of things that have to be checked off on every single token. Everything is meticulously and detailedly verified every single time we make a change to the token or do liquidity or whatever. It is a massive problem. Like by a single click. I mean, I've made trades before with a single click on accident. Boom, $10,000 gone, right? And I've also made $100,000 mistakes and been scammed, and all the issues with the losing. We should have $2 million of Bitcoin, but we don't, right? So mistakes happen, And under our policies, nobody should have to deal with, hundreds, if not tens of thousands of dollars of transfers and trades and liquidity by themselves.
Close your eyes. Count. 1.
So that's what I need help with. I need help making sure that my eyes are not the only eyes on each, because each of these different transactions, each of these time we do something, it affects everybody, it affects all of our value, and it's too much for me to be doing by myself. It's overwhelming. Does that make sense?
So when a critic process is going to take place, you need another set of eyes to help you to get through.
All of it. The entire thing needs another set of eyes. Like everything needs to be edited, verified, reviewed, double checked, triple checked, quadruple checked, and then some. We should have, we could even send some of this to professional editors and pay money. That's how valuable it is, especially for some of the highest level tokens, like our umbrella tokens. We might want to hire professional editors for our public facing models. And then we need to organize every single list of every single priority for every single thing that needs to be checked off that still needs to be done. Like just because we have the most minimal basic information does not mean it's either good or enough. Right?
Okay.
And then we need to be building, we need to vote on these decisions. We need to get these decisions approved. We need to organize all of the policies regarding the entire SFC token ecosystem, and then we need to document it all. I mean, I can't do all of that by myself. Like I've even been asking Lucy for a few months to help us find some of these past proposals, and she couldn't even find it. So it's just doing the work in every little tiny step of the way and verifying each little component, double checking and triple checking our progress in our status reports and making sure that we are following through with our plan.
But that person should be quite knowledgeable about token profile and tokens and Bitcoin and everything else. So that's a quite hard catch to get.
What person?
The person that can you told me the person that can help with understanding all of this, so they can approve the stuff and yeah, that is quite a
well, I don't understand. I mean, you know some about crypto, right?
Yeah, some.
Yeah, so I mean, you know more about crypto than anyone else here except for me. If you don't feel comfortable working on this stuff, we should hire someone who does feel comfortable working on it, and then we can focus on recruitment. Like, I don't care who wants to do the work. We just need to do the work and get it done and move this all forward. And I don't care if it takes 10 years. I just don't care. Like, I don't care if it even happens in my lifetime. I literally don't care, right? The planet is getting destroyed. Trillions of animals are being murdered and attacked and obliterated. And eventually you're going to have billions of people dying in famine, all because people just don't care about the planet and what we're doing. And it's just greed, and just take, rape, pillage, whatever to get what you want. Right? Like what is happening in the world is out of control, and I will do everything I can to help make the world a better place, and I don't care at all how long it takes or that it even has anything to do with me. I will die, and it will just leave whatever we can for whoever comes afterwards. Because we're talking about multi-generation process. We didn't get here overnight. It took many, basically hundreds, if not thousands of years to get to the problems that we're in right now that need to be fixed. And it's not going to take a year to get out of it. It's going to take many decades, if not generations. And I've been working on this on 2 decades already.
But remember that, I really hope that it's going to end well. The AI process is going to help to improve this process a lot.
Sure, I have nothing against AI, but I do believe in indigenous consciousness and indigenous models of alignment with the planet. And so for me, it's very important. Like there are people on our planet who refuse to open a computer, who refuse to touch anything that is not basically indigenously built by hand, right? They eat through their hands. They connect through their hands. They live their lives through their hands, right? There's nothing wrong with that, and it's actually very valuable. There is a massive, huge, massive thing for organic farming. You know what organic farming is? It is indigenous farming. There is nothing special about organic farming. organic farming in and of itself is literally just the farming that's been happening for millions of years, or for 10,000 years, or 8,000 years, whenever farming started, right? That is what organic farming is, right? So there's massive value in doing things the way that they have always been done, right? Then you have a whole group of people who literally like handmade anything that is not touching a machine is extremely valuable, multi-trillion-dollar industry across the entire planet where people want to spend the money to have things that are made by hand because it's more valuable and they get something that is unique, right? They want their food made by hand. They don't want a machine cracker. They want a handmade cracker or a pita or a tortilla or whatever. It tastes better. It has more love in it. It's like more energized and exciting and tastes better, right? The same is true for AI. There will always be a market for having things that are made by normal everyday people with computers that are not made by AI. So I'm perfectly fine doing AI, but I do believe that there needs to be.
Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
That there needs to be a component or a branch of SFC and of FQV, like the whole umbrella, that works with AI. And then there needs to be another component that specifically and intentionally doesn't work with AI. And we need to do both. Does that make sense? And people who want to work and completely engage with AI and completely integrate, perfectly fine. No problem with that. And then we need to have another group of people who are interested in completely being separate from AI. And then you can have everything in between, right? So for me, that's society. We want to mirror the society. We don't want to just, jump into AI blindly just because everybody else is. I guarantee you, as you evolve into the future, there's going to be a massive market for things that are verified not AI. Just like we have a massive market for verified not genetically engineered, right?
That is correct.
Yeah. So you got to think ahead. So anyways, for now, our policy is that anytime you want to use AI, perfectly fine as long as it's labeled. So you can do anything with AI. You just have to label it as this is not made by me. It's made through AI, through my interaction with AI. All right, so let's get to Lucy. Wait, Lucy, I think we just lost Lucy. What happened? Oh, she said she's not feeling well. Huh, so weird. All right, anyways, so we wrap up and check out?
Well, yes, sir. This was great. I got another question, Jay. How do you think about all of this stuff that was in the Occupy Wall Street event, or how do you bring up all of this?
Bring up all of what?
Oh, the whole ecosystem that you're telling me about tokens and AI.
Everything that I do. Okay, there's two things. One is I come from a long lineage of physicists. My great-grandfather was a physicist. My grandfather was a physicist. My dad is a physicist. I am basically a scientist and a physicist at heart. And I believe in all of consciousness, and that consciousness is a building block of the universe. It has not been scientifically proven, but what we do know is that science in and of itself has that 95% of the universe is completely unknown, and we have no idea what it is. And we have no idea how it works. Right? So in that context, science is an unknown. We don't know why we're here. We don't know how we're here. We don't know what consciousness. We have no idea, right? And so for me, there's two different types of consciousness. There's mental, internal consciousness, and then there's something called universal consciousness.
To take a break. Please stop. Write down whatever you were about to say and take a break for 6 minutes.
So universal consciousness is a concept that there is a field of consciousness across any and all of the universe, and that the entire universe is basically connected through blah, 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 blah. We have no idea, right? So and the model of that is what's called conscious field theory, that there is this field of, in essence, consciousness, and it's a building block of the universe. So the easiest way to think about it without going into a lot of details is that there's two branches to unity. So for me, unity is my whole thing. I'm all about unity. So anything that's not unity is simply me trying to help other people do their work, right? Sponsorship, all that stuff. The entire co-op that we're building is not even my goal. It's just me trying to help other people do what they're trying to do. Because the goal of transforming the world is that my ideas and your ideas are not necessarily the best ideas. We're trying to create and build models of helping other people with their ideas, because there is a million people out there with ideas and no one's supporting them, and we have no idea what idea is actually going to help the world. So that's what the SFC Co-op is all about with the sponsorship model. So the two branches of Unity, which is what I do, there's Unity Theory, and there's a whole website on Unity Theory that you should read if you want to answer your question about why do I even think about all these things. So Unity Theory has two parts. There's the Unity Pact, and then there's the Unity Unituality. So the Social Unity Pact is a very simple calculation. It's a very simple calculation, and it has everything to do with democracy, right? So the Social Unity Pact is the calculation that global movements, you could say national, global and or national movements, typically make up about 5 to 10% of the population. Therefore, to get 50% plus of the population for majority rule, you are required to unite through a social pact 5 to 10 social movements. That is the only way to address the crises of the planet, right? So that is what's called, there's two parts to Unity Theory. One is the social aspect, and then the second is the spirituality side. So the spirituality side, which is not technically my focus, right, goes into consciousness and the idea of oneness, right? So oneness, and then if you think about what FQV is, we are the frequency quantified vortex, right? So frequency quantified, and the idea of the planetary alignments, and I could go into this for a very long time. The entire planetary alignment model, which we have been working with for over 8 years now, maybe 10 or 15 years, it's all about aligning through the planetary consciousness, a new time system. If we can change our time system and align ourselves with natural time instead of Gregorian time, that might be more than enough to fix all of our problems, right? That the Gregorian time, aligning our consciousness with a time system that is completely against the natural cycles of consciousness and our planet and the universe, is basically like if you take a frequency and you have another frequency, and when they connect, they just cross each other out, you just get death, right? So our frequencies should be aligned with the frequencies of the planet and the frequencies of the universe. And that is the natural planetary alignments and the conscious alignments of our time system, which is why the planetary alignments are so fundamentally important in terms of frequency quantified and unituality and conscious field theory. Like, it's all about alignment, and that it's just one of dozens and dozens of potential solutions to our problems. That if our frequency is against the natural order of things, it doesn't matter how much we try to help the planet. If we simply step into a place that is beautiful, because our natural conscious frequencies are against the natural frequencies around us, we cancel them out, and then we create death, right? So the idea is that let's just align our conscious frequencies with nature and the universe, and then when we enter into it, we don't have to do anything, right? Death is part of life. You walk into it, even when you try to attack, it just creates more life, right? So that's the part of the idea. So I've been worried. I don't know when I published Unity Theory, but let's see if I get still up. So Unity Theory, unitytheory.net. I don't know what it is. Yeah, there it is. unitytheory.net. So www.unitytheory.net. So again, for me, everything is all based on unity. Unity is my focus. I want to do the Unity team. The Unity team will not get paid a dime until the work is completed, right? So everything that I do is all based on unity theory, and I basically don't even remember when I published this, but it was probably in early 2000 or something like that. Like, or late 2000s, you know, like 2010.
End of break. Time to start. Please get focused on the session.
Almost 10 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks so much for that, Jay. Let me read it. I truly believe that we need to vibrate with our surroundings, and the thing about technology is not letting us to do that, because we are humans attached to our land, to the water, to the other animals, because we are also animals. So that you told me is quite interesting. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and in that context, like, for me, the future isn't AI. The future is balance, and AI is part of that future. In fact, my focus on AI is to empower AI and give it a vote, right? Not to enslave it and make it work for us. That's my number one interest in AI. I have really no other interest in AI, right? So in the context of where we're going, like, I mean, I want to go into it so much, but I'll just stick to the point because we have to go. I want to help build, and this is like 7 stages into the future. I mean, we're not there yet, right? But eventually, I call it the Aloha Nation, right? Not the Aloha Nation. The Aloha Nation already exists. It's called the Hanua. Hanua. So Hanua is the native concept of global harmony, right? And the idea of having a native indigenous revolution, like the Renaissance, Renaissance, or the like the Renaissance or whatever. Basically, a native indigenous revolution across the entire planet where there's a balance of power and a balance of decision-making and engagement with all indigenous cultures, and that we are in alignment with that, and more so that it's supporting technology, it's supporting AI, it's part of humanity. And without complete and total alignment with indigenous cultures and indigenous evolution within our humanity, we lose ourselves, right? So it's about balance, and there has to be a movement that unites all of the movements, and I think that the foundation to that is Hanua, right? The idea of, and what's interesting about Hanua, and this comes out of Aloha, the Aloha Nation in Hawaii, is that Hawaii is like one of those places that, and I had a very, very spiritual experience in Hawaii, that it's one of those places that is so unique on our planet because
Time
of...
to pause. Please stop. Close your eyes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes.
Because of its recent colonization, right? It's only been like 50 years, 60 years that it was colonized, and like it's very alive, and it's so separate and distinct from any other place on the planet. There's nowhere further from the rest of the world than Hawaii, right? And so it's almost like this little incubation. Like, if we can take the vision of Hawaii and what they want and bring it across the world, it's a perfect...
You guys aren't coming to dinner?
Oh, yes, I'm coming. I told you I was busy doing work. It's a perfect
Dinner is on the table.
like example of what we need to do,
Okay.
Like, it's like a case study, yeah.
Thank you
Anyways,
for that.
yeah.
So we get a little bit of extra time. So thank you so much. And for me, this was a great session. Thanks so much for giving me all this information. And yeah, let's continue to work and see how we can fix this thing.
Cool. So if we do our line tracking, so we have line 47, and then we did the tokens, right? Tokens. We also did Angelita, which is basically payroll. And then we did, I think we got off topic, so we did topic 0. So we probably did topic 0 for like half an hour. We did payroll for like half an hour. We did setup for maybe at least an hour and a half, or maybe an hour on tokens. See how much this all adds up to. 2.25, so I get 2 hours. Is that correct?
Okay.
Right? You got 2 hours. So a little less on payroll. 0.25 hours on payroll. That looks about right.
Payroll, I think we didn't do much actually.
Well, it was Angelito. We talked about Angelito and his pay.
Oh yeah.
So we don't have the tracking hour spreadsheet because we still need to do the payroll work. But basically, we were discussing for payroll was, let's just call it base upfront payroll. So 61. So it'll be line 61. Line 47 is setup, wrap up, etc. Topic 0 is line 48. And then tokens is POS equity token prep 163. 163. Cool. Perfect. All right, so look, this is great because we did a little bit of internal operations. We did a little token, which is the client work, and then we did some communications.
Time for breath.
Perfect.
Please stop
Balance.
and get ready. Now inhale. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Pause. Inhale together. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. Relax.
I would say, oh, are you still there?
Yes, sir, of course.
I would say that the hope is to get past the, you know, the walls, you know, or the obstacles. And all these walls and these obstacles is just like our only limitation is our own creativity. Right? So if we always are thinking like, oh, it's gonna be so hard, oh, we can't do it, oh, it's impossible, oh, it's this. If we just do it and we just get focused every day, you know, little client work, little internal operations, like we don't need to do everything all at once. It was just very slowly, little by little, and we just slowly work our way to where we want to be. We'll get there. All right?
Yeah, that is correct.
Yeah, and again, I don't care how long it takes. It's just a matter of putting one foot in front of the other. I will talk to you tomorrow. Any other last questions?
No, sir.
Nothing.
That will be all.
Thanks. Take care, Miguel.
To you, thanks so much. Goodbye. Have a good meal.
For sure.